bank aban koji wo mu sika nyina editua car na wo education sector ena okopa Kwasi Nduom hokoji sika ekotua contractors any energy sector eka eda ho owie ye no ena obese ko akwabenadofo ho eka say tieni yo road contract na koko road na yetwam no aban ne ko akwabenadofo ho ena okoji akwabenadofo ho sika ene ko tua so called judgment debt emma koko road na obetwam na wonim say wotwam na obeboka why do you
I don't know
very good no twam no okoji sika no e wo akwabenadofo ho the intention ne say na wo pese Kenoforiata bank no it grow faster and bigger.
Why?
Yeah, okay, watch this. I'll tell you. Marco Faber,
wicked people. Let's talk about wicked people. The Bible says, for they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away until they cause someone to fall. Verse 17. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. There are people like that on earth. Believe me, I'm not just trying to be negative. There are people who have chosen to partner with the devil to be wicked. An evil heart it is called. There are wicked people in our world. There are wicked people around your organization. There are wicked people in church. There are wicked people in society.
Point was about 640 million Ghana cedis. That letter is there, the Bank of Ghana. The Ministry of Finance has a copy. The governor has a copy. Others have copies. There are some individuals in the country too who have copies. It's there. Let someone come and tell me that I'm not telling the truth. Okay? So they didn't pay. And let me tell you one more thing. I'm not going to show you everything here today, but just to make the point. Here is a communication. Okay? Here is communication signed by Nana Bedietu Asante, Secretary to the President, to the Minister of Finance. And it says, this is 24th May 2019. The title says Group Nduom Contractors. Okay, it says Group Nduom Contractors. Okay. And what it is saying is that you are respectfully reminded to initiate payments due contractors who finance some projects that were undertaken by some ministries, departments, and agencies, MMDAs. You will recall that at the recent cabinet meeting, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, requested for update on validated projects, especially those that were executed by contractors who took monies from GN Savings and Loan Company Limited and Gold Coast Fund Management, all entities of Group Nduom owned by Dr. Papa Kwasi Nduom. Then it goes on. It says, this has become necessary because of the intelligence picked up by national security that any further delays in paying monies due Group Nduom and its affiliates to enable them pay their customers and clients will affect our electoral fortunes in the 2020 general elections, particularly in the central region. So everybody understood that indeed you pay us, we pay our customers. Our tune hasn't changed. Pay the contractors, pay us, we pay our customers. Now, if everybody knew this, why did they then, knowing that the state and its agencies owed us, why did they harass us like this? Why did they go and spread all sorts of things for customers to rush on us, to demand their funds? Which financial institution can survive a rush on them? Which one? Data Bank? No. Fidelity? No. GCB? No. Nobody. No one. And instead of solving the problems, today you will hear a minister of so and so saying, some banks are going to collapse. You hear the vice president. He said some of it. You hear people from the central bank saying, if you can't bring money, then your bank will go away. Why? A bank that they themselves knew and still know today was owed by government and these agencies. If a debt to government is not good, what debt is good in Ghana? Why do people look for sovereign guarantee when they are giving us monies or when they are coming to do projects in Ghana? It's because everybody believes that you give money to government, it must come back. And let nobody also think that we give all of our monies for government contracts. You know, when all this crisis came, we paid more than 600 million Ghana cedis back to customers. And when it got hot, we even did barter because we produced televisions in Ghana. Some people, we gave them televisions. We built houses in Ghana. Some people, we gave them houses. We build refrigerators. We give people refrigerators in exchange for their money. So let nobody come and say we took their money and we put all of it to government contractors. No, but the biggest chunk went to where it is safe. It's to them. So the money is not in my pocket. It's not here. It's not there. The money is with them. So let them pay the money. They pay the money. We are all fine. Finally, I'll just show you one thing here. This is dated July 26th, 2018. As I said, I have many of these documents, and they are not just in Ghana. We have put them everywhere. There are many more. There are many more. This one is as a result of this memorandum submitted by the Minister of Finance at that time, Mr. Kenneth Kununku Oforiatta, to ask Cabinet to agree for GN Bank to be collapsed, for its license to be taken. I have read this memorandum. This memorandum doesn't consider that it was the biggest bank with the widest distribution network in Ghana. It didn't consider that we were providing monies that was banking services that was increasing financial inclusion in Ghana. It didn't recognize that we were supporting financial development, economic development in Ghana. Didn't recognize all of those things. It just said, these people, they are causing us problems. And therefore, it might affect our political chances, so let's shut it down. What led to the liquidity crisis? He refused to pay us. He paid others. He refused to pay our contractors. And they thought that maybe if they paid the money would come to me. And I've been telling people everywhere, that money, it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to customers. I've even said before, in writing to Jubilee House, that if you don't want to pay me, let's sit down and agree who is owed and pay them directly. Pay them directly. What is left, you give to us. Why wouldn't they mind us? Why would they even don't want to talk to me? Why? And this thing, look, after Mr. Oforiatta sent his memorandum to Cabinet, you know, that according to what I'm holding here, Cabinet did not agree that they should collapse GN Bank. Let me read to you what Cabinet said. It says, Cabinet at its 36th meeting, held on Thursday, 19th July 2018, considered a report of the Cabinet Committee on Economic Matters on the above memorandum submitted by the Minister for Finance. The memorandum requested Cabinet to consider and approve the revocation of the license of GN Bank as it was found to be in distress and unable to meet the new minimum capital requirement. However, Cabinet resolved that the Minister of Finance and Bank of Ghana should continue to engage the shareholders and management of the bank on the way forward so as to ensure confidence in the ongoing banking sector reforms in the country. I would be grateful if you could take action on the decision by cabinet. And this was sent to the Honorable Minister for Finance and to the Governor of Bank of Ghana from cabinet. So what happened? Who decided not to comply with the decision made by cabinet? Who? And then when we were in the difficulties, I sat down personally with the governor, the Bank of Ghana, and he said, Kwasi, look, save us all some grief. Why don't you accept to apply for a reclassification to become a savings and loans company? So we solved the minimum capital issue. And then we'll work to see if you can get your monies back from government agencies. When that is done, then you can come back and get your universal license back. Why did I believe him? Because the governor was and still is a member of the board of directors for Cocoa Board, one of the people that owe us for pre-financing cocoa roads in Ghana. So we did it. And in January 2019, they gave us a new license as a savings and loans company. So why is it that we didn't even finish the 6 months that they gave us to transform ourselves to savings and loan? Then one day, all of a sudden, license revoked. What happened? What happened? What happened? The most money locked up from our different companies in all of this. So the impact has been big, a huge negative, and we've been digging ourselves up from that. But very specifically, we wanted to give you a petition, which I will explain it just briefly. And we've also made it as brief as we can. So I want to give you this petition. Okay. And this petition, simply, we believe that when you take a look at it, you will understand the reasons why we believe that anyone who will occupy the seat of the presidency should take a look at all of what had happened with the so-called financial sector review and cleanup and so on and so forth. So people say that there was a financial sector cleanup, and they also say that they required people to bring new capital. I would say, ask the entire banking system, how many banks brought new money into the system? And you'll find there was very little. Many people restructured their balance sheets and through going about to revalue the positions, came up with additional capital, if you will, but very little new capital. Some that came from outside brought some new capital, but very little capital got on the table, most of which was also taken away by the haircuts from the bonds. So the system is today facing a lot of stress. But our particular specific situation is this. We built a bank from the very beginning, saying that we wanted to be the people's bank, to be everywhere, to serve the ordinary Ghanaian. So from the word go, we said we're going to build at least 300 branches and serve at least 1 million customers. And that we will be in where any major market is in this country. and provide services across. So we built not just these 300 branches. In actual fact, we built 305. And we put in the technology network so that no matter where you would be, whether it's in Wedana or Sisala or Pusiga or wherever, that you could access your bank account from anywhere. Or you could also decide that I'm in Avrongo. I want to go to Kwasi or to Makola to buy some supplies, but I don't want to carry cash, so I don't lose it. So you go to the branch, you tell them, here's my money, I'm going to Kwasi Edum, I'll collect my money. So they'll just go safely, pick up their money, buy their supplies and go home. So we built this network, which then became the focal point for economic development in many of the areas. Because now, if I know a specific man in Wale Wale who sold building products. Before we got there, his business was small because he couldn't drive through all these bad roads to go and deliver supplies, go and collect cash. But with our system in place, anyone, whether they're in Saboba or wherever else, will go to a branch, deposit money into his account. Once he verifies it's sitting in Wale Wale, he will then send the supplies to them, and his business was thriving. Now the business has gone down. Okay. So we feel that collapsing a 300-branch financial entity is inimical to the economic interest of the country. So whether it even belongs to us or belongs to someone else, it is something that needs to be there. Secondly, since our license was revoked and left a number of those places, nobody has gone to those locations. Nobody has decided that I'll go to, they are not here, so I'll go to Willency. They are not here, so I'll go to wherever it is. Nobody's gone there. And so there's nothing happening in those places. We had thousands of employees. Those employees don't have jobs. And because of the banking sector problem that showed up, who is going to give a branch manager a job today? So those people are jobless. And some of them are doing some really menial jobs with the education that they have. So that didn't happen. And there's a problem there. We also built quite a sophisticated digital money system. So some may have heard about a system called Pay Global and others that we built with your app. You can do all sorts of things. That system obviously is collapsed. Now, we consider that we built one of the first, people talk about interoperability. We did this, more than 6 years ago. And that system, it doesn't work now. Okay? We made a huge investment in that area. It is not working. So we've spent a lot of money, a lot of investment in the system that today is not doing anything for anyone. So why did this happen? It happened because quietly we had been the entity, our whole group, that was funding Ghanaian contractors. There are a number of them. I know you know some of them. We put them in business. We finance their contracts. So when former President Kufuor took over, they decided, and I was there, they decided that they weren't going to give advance money to contractors, that you should go and get your own money. And when your project gets to a certain phase, the professionals, technical people will go and take a look, certify the project, they pay you, then you move on to the next phase. If they don't pay you in 90 days, you get to charge interest on it. And that was a system that was put in way back in 2001 or so, because it was said that people would get advances and do all manner of things with the money and not do the work. So up until 2017, cumulatively, we had financed up to 14 billion Ghana cedis worth of contracts, cumulatively. That's the impact we were having on the system: bridges, roads, school buildings, and so on and so forth. Now, in 2008, when we started asking for our money, what we said was there at that time was 1.8 billion Ghana cedis. What? 2018 was 1.8 billion Ghana cedis. And this came about because when the new administration took over in 2017, it decided to freeze all contracts and said they were going to review them and reject whichever ones that they would reject. Well, they did the review. None of our projects was rejected. As a matter of fact, they gave even more contracts to a number of the contractors that we had pre-financed. But they would pay the new contracts and leave ours, right? We said, just give us 300 million Ghana cedis of contracts, work done and certified. And if they had done that, none of our companies would have suffered any challenges. They didn't. So Ministry of Finance said, go and get an independent person to audit these projects, which we did. When the independent person did the audit, they rather came up with an amount of 2.2 billion Ghana cedis, right? This money is what today has come up to over 7.1 billion. Now, knowing all of this, the governor who is there sat with me and said, look, why don't you accept to be reclassified from a universal bank to a savings and loans company, knowing that for savings and loans, the minimum requirement is only 15 million. Okay, 15 million. So do that, continue with your business, and then when monies are paid, then you can come back and request to be brought back to universal banking status. I went back to the directors, said, okay, let's do this. So January 2019, they gave us a letter saying, here are 6 conditions that you must satisfy over a 6-month period. Now go and become a savings and loans company. So we went and started working. After 6 months, we prepared this report. It's a transition report for the 6-month period. We gave it to them in July. All of the requirements that they gave us had been satisfied. And we said our capital at that point was about 200 million Ghana cedis. Now remember, savings and loans, you require 15 million, right? So imagine my shock when I'm sitting in Chicago doing some work, and in August I'm told that they have taken our license. I said, under what pretext? Under what condition? What happened? Okay, because this report we gave to them, nobody called us to say, come and let's talk page 5, what you put there is wrong. Or page 6, there's something that we don't understand. Nothing. Nothing. And I've been showing this to everybody, that we went through and did our work and said everything was okay. And indeed, the people had started coming back to us, giving us new money. The old OPIC in Washington, which is now DFC, we went there and signed an agreement for $20 million, okay, to bring in and put into the business. All of that went away because of this action.
Kwasi Nduom, aban born besia.
Aban born besia.
Kwabrado for the ne wo kakra wan hwe obem.
Asem o.
Royal Bank. Aban koji wo mu sika nyina editua ka na wo education sector. And of course, Kwasi Nduom hokoji sika. Ekotua contractors, any energy sector, e ka da ho. Owie ye no, e no besi kwa kwabrado fo ho. E ka say, tieni yo, road contract na koko roads na ye twam no. aban ne ko akwabnado fo ho e na ko gye akwabnado fo ho sika e de ko to so called judgment debt emma Koko wrote now be twem na wonim say wo twem na obebo ka why do you twem
na omo
very good no twem no ko gye sika no e wo akwabnado fo ho the intention ne say na omo pese Kenoforiata bank no a grow faster and bigger.
Why?
Okay, watch this. I'll tell you. Marco Faba. So the agenda was that one number ton NIB. Initially, they wanted a South African bank to come and buy NIB. Then the South African bank will say that then one beton masab bank no. Saubeka ya 2018 e ba say ye ton Ghana Commercial Bank. Quickly no me ya rebranding no be friend GCB. I still have the document. So that and between that time to 2028 they are looking at it say they're looking at it say Sa bank no ebenya not less than 140 branches across the country so that they can hold the financial system.
Where do you know?
With their money, so that they can hold the entire financial space, you know, because Ghana have bank or branches span the whole country. A Kwasi Nduom branch. Bank.
Branch.
Kwasi Nduom. When my dear Kwasi Nduom here. Pa, can I say it?
Say
I don't know where you are.
Say it.
CIA ebe report ewo Ghana ha. It is all share. What kind of Japadier book now? When you imagine some blackmail Kwasi Nduom a CIA informant. Granted, says Kwasi Nduom a CIA informant. One more party, no CIA to Kwame Nkrumah. Into Kwame Nkrumah, I too no any UP4 and another do any must say any Kwasi Nduom one or the biggest informant. UP. And a Kwasi no, I am not. Make why you United Nations. And the UN, and they call Zimbabwe, UN, and they call other African countries to build their economy. Alan Chamatini, Kwasi Nduom, and the World Trade Organization, when they were looking for top-notch Africans, Kwasi Nduom, and Alan Chamatini, President Kufuor nominate woman. That is why Kwasi Nduom no a CPP, but Oriye na Jumano, J. Kufuor time, Obeye Minister of Energy first, and so Obeye Minister of Public Sector Reforms. It is a document now who say Ghana Commercial Bank one of the most powerful banks in the whole of Africa. Say Ghana Commercial Bank na woman awareness no. Na ye one na bank we TTB Mokai. Trust Bank. Very good. CIA report which say Ghana manage Trust Bank here. Trust Bank baba be one of the biggest banks ubetimi Africa betimi dey infrastructure. That time they were Bank of Housing. So they realized that Ghana Commercial Bank, TTB, African Development Bank, and as against ADB, ADB, African Development Bank, Agricultural Development Bank. It was a strategy so that by abbreviation they would sound the same. It was a serious financial fraud. What I said to kill Ghana ADB. So quickly, Osafma for attempted selling ADB. And for Kwasi Prati, I'm sorry. That time I don't person on Ghana water ni ECG can hono. And for then Professor Samuel Sebai and the Mudadi. A quite democratic way Musubaya no so person on ADB. And also Amfa. Because that's still a CIA document, you know. Indicate say even what ton ADB, what ton NIB, I can't buy bank back me. ADB, NIB, and there's one other government bank be. Forgotten the name. What counts our banks no value boma and do Ghana Commercial Bank half.
That's huge.
And one other state institution or what's the capacity of SIC. I'm telling you, SIC. What come my banks be that is why I say some person on SIC. No. On SIC branches and they will convert it into a bank. Some bank be na MPC be body. It is sanity there.
Bank.
Kwasi Nduom who report no. He told somebody in cabinet say sanity there. Yem build 5 Ghanaian people. Kwasi say young pe Ghana phone numa what tisika semase. Ono Kwasi Nduom so betimi lead ma $4 billion abagana to set those 5 people no up. Now metimi ama financial sector na Ghana ha no are very strong. Now fe no we must select about 200,000 youth across the country. Now we must obi $50,000 to set them up. And we agree but na buy ni nisika na Kwasi say no, nisika no problem. Etika Kwasi Nduom pese our hotel, can I say it? Our hotel be Elmina. Kwasi Nduom hotel Elmina.
Elmina, yeah. E will beach no.
Na Kwasi Nduom pese o this hotel ni kosi a Ghana nti. Yes say, me say there's a document to prove. Eti Kwasi Nduom ade na me hwe ya me yesa.
Yeah, both from.
Ena onya na damfo bi wo US. Ena o ka chen say no, I don't think say it will be needful. So the bank ni be kwakosi awa. You stayed ewa America, why you adwuma man international bodies. You can find a way. Genuinely, onya sika kakra. And also sanity there. Said the Ghana Commercial Bank be very strong. Now 5 banks no more person who grow no be very strong. Said the be ada afen makai. Ada international banks no be want to say wo mo kono. Ghana financial sector no en collapse. Now watch this. Now your bank bi wo kurum ha. Me modi because obi ato. Woma bank na shim. Dey international bank. Say am no ka say bank na yasesa ne din na bibi wo mu wo baabi. Na bibi wo ho baabi. E na omo sesa na omo di AB be share ho baabi. And the Kwasi Nduom.
Microphone is on a media.
Kwasi Nduom. I'm telling you Ghana for story. Kwasi Nduom saw this coming. Eti Kwasi Nduom. Papa be a friend of Buck Pig and a Buck or ye financial guru. Any Joe Papa Kakana
Joe Jackson.
Joe Joe Jackson. And another lecturer be University of Cape Coast. My friend Kingsley J or ye tia be the Dr. Kingsley J or ye tia be wow bing. And then one woman or a Ghanaian says I'm no kase or Senegal on advice Senegal finance minister. Ghanaian ba onya ba mo yo ba oni kunumpo. Would you live here wedi or 43 years.
But yeah, fa na nya.
O ya igbeni.
Yeah, fa na nya.
Or a Votarian.
Wedi
43 years on advises Senegal finance minister. Go and check Senegal say baby our economy nedru. It's far better than that of our country. These people teamed up and said that they will build the financial sector as against the interests of the international banks because they be on person omo kope na economy no enya shock. Sa bank bi na me say ho ba bi no okoye financial sector ni nya shock. Emre bi abese ko na omo say omo chase you say beje besia. It's in Crawford omo sika bebre kogu so the bank became the richest bank in Ghana as against Ghana Commercial Bank. So Kwasi Nduom wanted to keep the money here in Ghana to complement Ghana Commercial Bank. And President Kufuor $84 million be SIC because of the Kwasi Nduom deba no. Again, Kojo Banredu be finance minister no. Okwaji $213 million after say a ton Vodafone. Ghana Telecom, ebe the Vodafone. And on this Sasika no, ekoshe SNET. Sasika na NDC ba ya say papa bi and the TV wo mu wo baby. Koye sika no won ya. Aha. E dey asound ba. So through Kwasi Nduom, Kufuor aban hu say no, SSC a build the financial sector no. So the plan at cabinet, Dr. Paul Akwa, he was the former Bank of Ghana. Any former chief of staff here where we Kokoyin Kreni Kufuor first chief of staff Jacob Chebilamtemu. After a cabinet meeting, President Kufuor summoned them. Omo 4. No I can me mumudi. Mashada. Me de baba me cancer michna. Someone said, go to London, stay there and think. Monko drink. Na mumra said because that time, let me be sincere with you. That time, na Ecobank threatening Sobeko. Because a ton Ghana Telecom no, obi ayam shame says abai niska. Ecobank threatening Sobeko. SGSSB are threatening Sobeko. Barclays are threatening Sobeko. Standard was the first, but threatening Sobeko. So the NPP government then needed a strategy to hold the Ghanaian economy, especially Yesika way system. Then Kufuor appointed these 5 people, go to London and think and come back. Osafo was then the Minister of Education, and then, but he was part of it because he was then the former Minister of Finance. And on the man Kojo Banredu, or transition engineer no point juma, me wa fanedi ya. No, a workaholic. That is what killed Kojo. High crown, my fancy me melchishabun. It's Omuri and no. Then they agreed that the banks need not threaten some beko. Adi ebe sevi and say Ghana first must arrest the dollar. Bisa Mr. Niyama.
The dollar and the watifli.
Yeah, me Mr. Niyama nyo wofia hey. Sama me boa, mu Mr. Niyama. The term arrest the dollar. Mr. Niyama down for penny bi pa. And so Nancy na omo cheche ye no. Or say arrest the dollar, not the media. So arrest the dollar. Mr. Niyama down for Papa Penny pa the proposal your cabinet. Say answer na Ghana economy bit me na so je arrest the dollar no. So the strategy we buy yin said led by Paul Akwa. And say as I say sister Ghana your currency no. So to hell with the international banks. To hell with the international banks. I feel what I say. And cosmetic. He saved this country. If you don't know, I'm telling you today. J.A. Kufuor and his administration saved Ghana. I have a document. My kind here will dream. And now, Osasa Sikano. Eti Osasa Sikana. Dollar no. Ebe 90 pesos to a city. Not city ni ya $1 dollar ni pepepe. And a banks ni na ye nwadwen say no ye kasa ye kwa economy no ensay. It was a huge thing to kill Ghana's economy.
At that time almost what's the
and say now what's the sign na dollar no e wo form change city and the banks are kase international banks ni na who say no and yes sanity there yenko and the Kufuor can say businessmen na e wo Ghana ha no tie me ye me ba asem bi so J Kufuor who said no a sense economy no aye very strong yasesa sika no sika bebre aba system ni mu no Ghana businessmen no I don't want to mention names but mebo Ibrahim Mahamadin in this conversation and I'm saying J Kufuor selected 50 businessmen in this country no do call the then merchant bank and Ibrahim Mahamad kwani Kufuor man be say and Ibrahim Mahamad Kufuor amfa sika na mano because say or ye hwan or the man so ye Ghana business man me body din we fidie so e friend Antiagi e ho na fi
community
East Legon Antiagi e ho na fi na J Kufuor selected 52 businessmen and women kweku otenka ho ntina kweku oto no thrift petrol oton or chate or kate fuel or official I mean no license omo the fuel ko no mo the abanti se Mali Togo Ivory Coast omo fuel sa na Ghana businessmen and women na the fuel na ko so Kufuor selected 52 nipa sa 52 40 of them no mo NDC related 40 out of the 52 are J Kufuor ma omo jisika asem obi anka da me na me ka kire e wo merchant bank no now 40 out of the 52 no mo NDC for including Ibrahim Mahamad. And now let me say this on record. Ibrahim Mahamad and Nisika Niswa. Huh? Ibrahim Mahamad and Niswa. But winning, you have a boy Ibrahim Mahamad doing because Nimian John Mahamad. And to Kufuor years, I pay on a banks no any guase. No can say near. Ye now Kobi. Chafe de say we Ghana ni now is ye beba be ma obesia crap because we must sika be good system no money guase. And the park we see who said no. And now say banks ni be international banks na starting ma Ghana 4% no. Ghana for no do musika ni na e foreign banks no. Foreign banks no so mfa so no $60 ne pounds ne euros pe film not the call. Enti sa na tie dia President Kufuor advised Kwasi said this is the time to roll. If you don't know, let me tell you this. This I'm getting emotional. I'm getting emotional. This is the time to roll. Enti the appear say a krana Ghana Commercial Bank entimi nyendru ho no. Wo fa Ghana Bank no dru ho mafia. Said ya be ya Ghana ni no sika no be ka Ghana. The yetimi di enya bi di ayo man ni yie. And the Kwasi or risky. Let me tell you Ghana for today. Kwasi went for a loan. Kwasi Nduom went for a loan to establish and expand South Bank no because of the interest of this country. Ghana nti Kwasi Nduom started so obibi. And the Ghana for wabruche no na fe do baby na wono mo ji omusika fa. And the banking sector na nkasa mpanifo na ewu mu no started say omo wo Kwasi Nduom pin. I am telling you, it started in 2008. Even national security, Kwasi Nduom who report MJ Kufuor, I am saying it today. I stole that document. Mama man cancer mukrum how. Me say Ghana obi ani mu nchami.
Eniema ekoso underground on the.
Kwasi Nduom. Wo mo ye na Kufuor se dom. Na Kufuor nim. Said the be Ghana be yi. All of a sudden, Nanadu, you were part of that cabinet meeting, you know. Now you say, ye good bank, sir.
Ye good bank.
Now what the Kwasi Nduom GN Bank. A good GN Bank. GN what you say? Ghana National Bank. So a quite nimu kakra. Kwasi will hand that bank over to the people of Ghana. Now by the property of the government of Ghana. That was the brain behind GN, Ghana National Bank. Now, we're ceded to Ghana Commercial Bank. Now, Ghana Commercial Bank are taking over Ghana. Said the Beya say, I brought forward a whole banks and the Casa Womo Qua, Yen or Mino, Yen.
Abronti.
Obia so back banks na ye good nasem. And some
Abro.
For my kasa.
GN Bank. O kino ho.
Ebia, and some minimum kroma no. Men some minimum kroma. And ye good GN Bank.